The camera flash cracked like lightning in the night, catching the angular planes of Erin O'Connor's face, the thin line of her lips, and the deep, shadowed gaze in her eyes. In a sea of blonde-haired, blue-eyed models, the tall, slender girl with the cropped black hair appeared like a living sculpture, mysterious and untouchable. She wasn't sweet, nor did she fit the conventional mold of alluring beauty. Erin was something else entirely, both defiant and magnetic. At one time, whispers in the fashion world suggested she was too different to make it. Yet within a few short years, that very difference would crown her as one of the defining faces of the 90-second Supermodels era, a muse to the most powerful designers of her time. But behind the graceful strides on the runway and the iconic fashion images, Erin was still the girl from a small English town, an unlikely birthplace for an international high-fashion phenomenon. Her journey is more than a tale about fashion. It is a confrontation with beauty standards, with the harsh judgments of an industry, and with herself. Through both the blinding spotlight and the darkest corners of the business, the true dark side of fashion, she has remained unflinchingly herself, her proud gaze challenging the world to look again. Erin O'Connor was born on the 9th of February, 1978, in Brown Hills, a modest town in England's West Midlands. This was not a place of glittering runways or flashing cameras, but a working-class community where narrow streets wound between rows of red brick houses and the scent of coal sometimes lingered in the air. Her father, a mechanical engineer, and her mother, who worked in a local shop, raised Erin and her two sisters in a humble, disciplined, and down-to-earth environment. From a young age, Erin stood out from other children. She was unusually tall, slender, and had facial features that many adults described as odd or unconventional. At school, this difference often made her the target of teasing, nicknames that stung, curious stares, and an unspoken social distance pushed her to retreat into herself. Yet in that quiet, an ember of determination began to burn a resolve to prove her worth. Her family was far from wealthy, but her parents encouraged her to protect her individuality and never allow others to define her value. Erin found comfort in literature and art, subjects that gave her a voice without requiring her to speak. At home, she helped her mother with chores, played with her sisters, and dreamed about a world far larger than Brown Hills. It was a childhood shaped by contrasts, the limitations of a small town, and the boundless landscapes of her imagination, the sting of exclusion, and the quiet reinforcement of self-worth. These experiences would become the foundation of her strength. One day, she would leave this modest town carrying with her the very traits once mocked to step onto the most prestigious runways of the 90-second Supermodels era, even if that meant confronting the dark side of fashion along the way. Erin O'Connor's turning point came in 1995, when she was just 17. That year, her high school organized a charity fashion show to raise funds for the community. Erin, shy and convinced she didn't belong on a stage, reluctantly agreed to participate after much persuasion from friends and teachers. She wore a long dress designed by students from the school's sewing program, her narrow shoulders straight, her short hair framing her face, her deep-set eyes fixed on the audience. In the front row sat a woman who watched her with unmistakable focus, a model scout from the prestigious London agency Models 1. After the show, she approached Erin, handed her a business card, and said words that would stay with her forever. "You have a beauty unlike anyone else. If you want it, the world will remember you." At first, Erin was skeptical. She had heard plenty about the fashion industry's unforgiving standards, and her family's reaction was cautious. Her mother feared she might get hurt. Her father doubted the industry would welcome a tall, willowy girl with such strikingly angular features. But curiosity began to outweigh hesitation. She agreed to travel to London for a test shoot. That day, in front of the photographer's lens, Erin felt something shift. She didn't try to appear pretty in the conventional sense. She simply stood still, gaze steady and cool, arms relaxed. The resulting images carried a strange blend of fragility and authority. The test shots quickly circulated to several magazines, and before long, Erin received her first booking, a shoot for ID magazine. From a small-town charity runway to the glossy pages of an influential fashion publication, Erin had taken her first step into the vast, glittering, and perilous world of high fashion, a realm that would bring her both the glory of the 90-second Supermodels era and inevitable brushes with the dark side of fashion. After her appearance in ID magazine, Erin O'Connor quickly captured the attention of the fashion elite. In 1996, she officially signed with Models 1 and began traveling constantly between London, Paris, and Milan. The late 90-second fashion scene was searching for faces that could shatter the mold, and Erin emerged as the perfect answer. Her major breakthrough came in the spring-summer 1997 season, when John Galliano, then creative director of Dior, cast her for his haute couture show. On that runway, surrounded by opulent gowns and dazzling lights, Erin walked with an elegance that seemed almost otherworldly, her long neck poised, her frame fluid yet statuesque, her face an enigmatic mask. Galliano would later describe her as a living Renaissance statue. With a single show, Erin's name spread like wildfire through the high fashion world. In the years that followed, she became a fixture on the catwalks of Chanel, Valentino, Alexander McQueen, and Paul Gaultier. Legendary photographers such as Steven Meisel, Mario Testino, and Nick Knight sought her out repeatedly. Among a generation of glamorous 90-second supermodels, Erin was the dark, commanding figure, a study in contrasts that made her unforgettable. In 1999, she graced the cover of Vogue Italia in a shoot that has since become iconic. Captured in three-quarter profile, her sharp cheekbones and tightly closed lips conveyed both distance and strength. That image did more than cement her as a top model, it challenged the industry to broaden its definition of beauty. At her peak, Erin wasn't just a model for the houses, she was a muse. Designers like Galliano, McQueen, and Gaultier valued her not only for her look, but for her ability to tell a story through movement, transforming each runway into a stage and each garment into a narrative. With her commanding 1.83-meter frame, ethereal presence, and refusal to conform, Erin O'Connor became a symbol of the era, one who not only shaped the legacy of the 90-second supermodels, but also carved her own place in the often unforgiving, yet intoxicating, dark side of fashion. Erin O'Connor was never the cute or bombshell kind of model that the fashion industry often celebrated. From the very start, she embodied something entirely different: short black hair, an angular face, porcelain skin, and an unusually tall, slender frame. This made her a revered artistic icon to some, and a commercial risk to others. Several major advertising campaigns turned her down, dismissing her as too severe or not relatable enough for mainstream consumers. One brand bluntly told her, "You're too sharp, our customers won't feel comfortable." But Erin never tried to soften herself to fit someone else's ideal. As she once said, "If I have to change who I am to please someone, then I'm no longer myself." Her difference lay not only in her looks, but in her approach to the profession. In an industry driven by trends and profit, Erin held to her own standards. She often refused lucrative contracts if she felt the imagery exploited her image or clashed with her values. This integrity earned her the respect of avant-garde designers and visual artists who saw her as a creative partner rather than just a clothes hanger. Erin also stood out for her willingness to speak openly about the toxic pressures within fashion. She discussed extreme dieting, invasive castings where every inch of a model's body was scrutinized, and the insecurity such practices bred in countless young women. In 2007, she joined campaigns to raise awareness of eating disorders and to push for healthier body standards on runways. Her stance was a reminder that the glamour of the 90-second supermodels era coexisted with the harsh truths of the dark side of fashion. By staying true to herself, Erin proved that success didn't have to mean conformity, and that what some once saw as flaws could become a model's most defining strengths. At the height of her career, Erin O'Connor seemed to have everything: fame, influence in the fashion world, and an image unlike anyone else. Yet in the mid-2002, she began to step back from the runways, leaving fashion insiders to speculate. The reason was not a public scandal, but a quiet, growing exhaustion. After nearly a decade of non-stop travel between the fashion capitals, living out of hotel rooms, and maintaining a body that seemed almost unreal, Erin began to feel drained. "I love fashion," she would admit, "but I no longer love the way it was making me live." Witnessing younger colleagues spiral into substance abuse, eating disorders, and psychological crises further deepened her concerns. Instead of clinging to the spotlight, Erin chose to slow down, channeling her energy into advocacy and reclaiming her personal balance. She became a strong voice for improving working conditions for models, particularly for minors. Her absence from major catwalks initially sparked rumors that she was past her prime or being replaced by the new generation. In reality, Erin was simply selective, appearing only in projects that carried meaning or high artistic value. This semi-withdrawal added to her mystique. She became a figure who didn't need to be everywhere to be respected. She never vanished completely, but her decision to step back revealed the hidden cost of a supermodel's life, the toll on mental and physical well-being. It was a reminder that the luminous legacy of the 90-second supermodels was built in a world where the dark side of fashion could weigh heavily on even the strongest. Today, Erin O'Connor no longer graces every magazine cover or leads every major runway, yet her influence lingers powerfully. She stands as a role model for a generation of models who dare to break the mold, proving that fashion is not just about being easy on the eyes, but about personality, intellect, and courage. Erin continues to collaborate with select luxury houses while dedicating herself to charity work and advocacy. She is particularly committed to protecting model rights and promoting a safer, healthier work environment for young talent. As a judge and mentor in modeling competitions, she shares her experience and inspires newcomers to embrace their individuality. Having lived through both the dazzling heights and the quiet retreats, Erin remains as poised and proud as ever, the same magnetic presence that once made the world turn its head. Her greatest legacy is not just the iconic photographs or runway moments, but the message she embodies: difference is not a weakness, it is your power. And perhaps, if one day Erin O'Connor chose to return with the same intensity as before, the fashion world would welcome her with open arms. Because she never truly left, she merely chose her own corner of the stage, where the light is softer but still unmistakably hers.